Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Evolving Activist. It's a beautiful sunny March day here in the Seattle area, and I'm taking the opportunity to hang outside for a little bit. So today I've got a few things on my mind. One of them is the fact of all the stuff going on in the world right now. And, there's a bunch going on. And this morning, I don't know why I did it. Just out of curiosity, I decided to take a look at my investment portfolio, which was probably a terrible idea because as I record this, it's the 9th of March, 2020. And today we had the worst drop in the stock market since the financial crisis. So huge drops in the market, terrible, to the point where they actually had to stop trading for a little bit on the New York Stock Exchange this morning as what they call a circuit breaker, to kind of try and curb the panic, right? Part of it's the coronavirus, but another part of it is Russia and Saudi Arabia having a little tiff about oil prices. And of course, the markets are panicking. And so I took a look at my portfolio and fell off my chair, caught my breath, got back on my chair and thought, holy cow, that's a big drop. I mean, that's wiped out a bunch of hypothetical money, because it's all really hypothetical until it's in your hand. And boy, it was shocking. And then I kind of stopped and thought about it a little bit. I came outside. The cats are getting some outside time. The horses are napping in the sun. They don't care. They don't care about what's going on in the stock market. They don't care about the fact that people are hoarding toilet paper because they're scared of quarantines and the coronavirus. They're just living their little lives, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the beautiful warmth today. And I thought, isn't that funny how we humans panic about things that aren't even really real sometimes, like the stock market, right? All of that's really just numbers. It's not real necessarily. It can have a real impact, but it's a construct. Yes, there is a risk for a lot of people with a virus that's making its rounds around the world right now. And it made me think about how sometimes the effect of these things that happen is less about what's actually happening and more about the energy and the emotions around it, how people panic, right? The little lizard brain takes over and we start panicking. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. My share prices are falling. This virus is going to kill us all, etc., etc. And I wanted to think about that in context of you as a change maker, you as somebody who's wanting to drive positive change in the world. Are you coming at your change making from this place of panic that everybody's feeling? Are you susceptible to it? Are you responding with angst, with anger, with fear, with panic? Or are you holding to the vision of the change that you want to bring in the world? Like, everything has a perspective attached to it, doesn't it? If I had a whole bunch of spare cash lying around right now, I might actually think that this market crash was a fabulous thing, because I'd be buying up shares, of course, in ethical companies, right? There are some people making an awful lot of money off of the panic around the virus, which is sad and exploitative. And it's a different perspective, right? They see an opportunity where we see a catastrophe. So I got thinking about this, right? As people who are driving change in the world, where are we coming from? What energy are we coming from when we're trying to bring change to the world? right? Are we taking a long-term view? I had to laugh after I picked myself up off the floor this morning after looking at my investments. I had to laugh because, the last time this happened, I called my financial advisor and freaked out on him. And he said to me, "Oh, were you planning to sell today?" And it was just like, he kind of talked me off the ledge, because he was like, "Look, you're in this for the long haul. You've got to be strategic, right? You got to understand that there's going to be things that happen in the market. So ride them out, plan for them, right? Don't panic. If you weren't planning to divest yourself of shares today, then it doesn't matter that the share price has gone down, because you're planning to divest in 10, 15, 20 years from now. You don't know what's going to happen. The share price may go back up. So it's not worth panicking about something that doesn't currently affect you. So that was a good reminder. And it was a good reminder to think strategically. If I think about, in our activism and in our efforts to make change in the world, quite often we do it from a very reactive stand. We do it from a very emotional stand. Oftentimes we're doing it from a stand of anger or fear, right? Or outrage. And sometimes if we could just take a step back and shift ourselves into a different energy, being strategic, thinking through the long term, playing the long game, right? Sticking with it, thinking about what's going to be most effective right now versus what's going to give me immediate pain relief right now. So there's that, taking the long game, thinking strategic. But more importantly, I think, is the idea that we really do. You cannot, who was it said that? I think it was Albert Einstein. You can't solve a problem from the same mindset that got you there, right? We can't solve a problem from the same energy as the problem. So we can't shout, stop panicking, right? We have to stop panicking first and then help people to move themselves out of their panic. Reminds me of a long time ago, an email situation that happened at a company I was working for, where somebody had accidentally sent an email to a test distribution group, which included everybody in the company. And so they get this random email and everybody starts replying all with, "What's this? Take me off this email. I don't need to be on this. Stop it. Stop replying all. Stop it. Stop replying all." And it just escalated into this massive issue because all of these reply alls became exponential and eventually crashed the server. So, and that was just because people weren't thinking, right? They were panicking, or they were getting caught up in the moment. They were getting caught up in this energy, right? And so it struck me that all of these things happen. So much of this happens because we don't take a breath. We don't just go, let's think about this from a different perspective. Let's bring a different energy to this. Let's remind ourselves what we're working for, not what we're fighting against. And how can we relieve the pain? How can we diffuse the anger? How can we help people make the connection back to their compassion? We're not going to do it from a place of anger or fear or panic. All we're going to do is escalate their fear and anger and panic. So if you want to make positive change in the world, you need to start thinking about where you are. Where's your energy? Where are you coming from? Are you coming at your activism from the wound of it? Or are you coming at your activism from the possibility and the potential that you see in the world? They have very, very, very different energetic signatures. And the price you pay, right? Let's take it back to the stock market thing. If I'm going to get all panicky and sell, I'm going to pay a high price because I'm going to lose a bunch of money, right? But if I breathe, remind myself that things happen in waves and that this is not the end of the world, even if I did lose all my money, it's still not the end of the world. The sun is still going to come up tomorrow. We do have a few more years of that at least. Then I'm not going to panic sell. It's not going to cost me as much, right? In fact, if I could lean into a possibility here, maybe I could find some cash to actually invest right now, in which case it would give me a return. But either way, I can't buy in to the energy of the panic. It's not going to serve me. It's not going to serve anybody else. And again, you can't solve a problem from the energy of the problem. We have to shift into a different energy. So part of that for me is returning to my values, knowing what is important to me. Part of it is knowing what my vision is, coming back to that. What's my vision for my life? What's my vision for the world? Right? Part of that is knowing what's mine and what I'm taking on from everybody else. So if that's something that you struggle with, if you're not clear on your values, in fact, you might even think you're clear on your values, but sometimes we think we're clear on our values and then we realize they're not even our values at all. The values that were inculcated into us as children. Is it true? Have we investigated that? Have we really sat with them and thought about them? If you're not clear on your values, if you're not clear on your vision, if you have a sense that you're coming to your change making from a place of wounding, then that's where you start. You have to come back to yourself. You have to start with that. You have to start with you. To be able to shift yourself out of that wounded place into a more powerful state, into a different energy from the problem, so that you can drive change. Anyway, those are my thoughts on a sunny March morning, and we'll wait and see what the stock market does. Wait and see what this virus does. Wash your hands, everybody. By the way, soap and water is the most effective, especially for a virus like this. Science says so. And remember to breathe. If you're interested in learning more about how I can help you with this, message me to join my invitation list. I'm putting together a program that hopefully will help, but I'm also available for private coaching sessions and workshops. So I hope you have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world, and stay calm, keep breathing, wash your hands, be kind. I'll talk to you later.